With that in mind, let's bring in our next guest. He is national security analyst Ryan Mauro. Ryan Skyping in this morning from New Jersey. Ryan, we thank you for your time, and we appreciate you being here on America's Forum.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Ryan, the Pentagon launched a mission in Yemen last month, failing to rescue Mr. Summers. Was this really the best chance, maybe the only chance they had to rescue this hostage?
I won't say only, because if they were able to launch this mission in the first place, that means that we have pretty good on-the-ground intelligence tracking Al-Qaeda's branch in Yemen. So there's always hope, but Al-Qaeda's branch in Yemen hasn't given us much time to work with before they execute this poor American.
And not only have they not given our nation much time, they've not given us any specific notion of what they're after. What are they looking for? Money? Other concessions? Do you have any idea?
Well, they did make some generic criticisms of American foreign policy like they always do, but what they said was that our demands are well known, which means they didn't want to say it. So that may mean that they're trying to get money. On a broader level, I think they're trying to out-ISIS ISIS, because Al-Qaeda's branch in Yemen is very powerful, but they generally stay away from this type of high-profile thing. But they, just like other branches of Al-Qaeda, are trying to take some of the attention away from ISIS and show that they are still viable and the big guys in town.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Ryan, you use that phrase, trying to out-ISIS ISIS. With that in mind, does that set up a kind of escalation of brutality between and among these different Islamo-fascist terror groups?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. You have Boko Haram in Nigeria that's trying to mimic ISIS as much as possible. They haven't actually crossed the line into declaring allegiance to ISIS because Boko Haram in Nigeria is still an Al-Qaeda affiliate, and so they don't want to alienate either side, but they want to move as closely as they can to the Islamic State as possible. In terms of propaganda, you have the Al-Qaeda chief, Ayman al-Zawahiri, saying, "No, my caliphate is better, come fight with me." So you have kind of like a caliphate race going on.
And mindful of that, is there ever a situation where that kind of competition can turn into these different groups going after each other rather than directing their focus on Americans and their, I guess we'd say, their traditional announced enemies?
Oh, definitely. One of the traditional signs that a terrorist group is losing and is on its way out is when it starts fracturing and its members start killing each other. One of the advantages we have is that extremists, by their very nature, kill each other over relatively minor things. And so infighting can be a very good thing for us, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. When it comes to fighting us, they'll cooperate. Iran and Al-Qaeda, for example, they cooperate in some areas at the same time as killing each other in Syria.
Well, and as you mentioned this, it seems to me, and obviously we talked about a hostage rescue, and obviously we want to rescue Americans, but it would seem an effective strategy is to set up some sort of internal situation that would prompt these different factions to battle each other. Is that about a minute left here, is that a viable strategy? Do you think we have some sort of fifth column trying to work on this?
I wouldn't be surprised if we did. I would assume that not just us, but Arab intelligence services and different intelligence services want to do that kind of thing. It's very common sense. It's easy to cause these fissures. So that's very effective. But we've also got to work with our allies in stamping them out. Nigeria, for example, just canceled the American training program of its military to fight Boko Haram. So we've got to find better partners.
And speaking of those allied partners and those who oppose us, it's almost as if we need to have a scorecard. Ryan Mauro, we're going to step aside for a couple of minutes. When we come back, we'll talk more about Boko Haram and these other groups, what distinguishes them, what may make them the same, and what the implications are for our own national security. There's more ahead here on America's Forum. You stay with us.